So, if this is my evolution, how much of me needs to evolve? Hi, this is Dr. Anita with another diamond moment. The diamonds of our lives are produced through time, heat, and pressure. It is completely our responsibility to retrieve the experiences of our lives in order to reassemble the truth that we're living in now. Because if I'm not rebelling, but I'm simply evolving, then I need to know what part of my prior life do I hold on to, what part of it maybe I have outgrown and it's time to relinquish, or what parts of it am I absolutely certain that need to be reframed. And so in the next weeks, months, possibly even years, we're going to be going through and we're going to be refining and defining what has occurred in this place that we find ourselves in of our own personal, spiritual, and life evolution. So, our truth shows up in different ways. For me, in order for me to embrace where I am now, I also have to do something with where I was before. Where I was before, as we've said, no longer matched who I am now. But along with those experiences that I'm redefining, there's also experiences that I cannot redefine. They happened before I had an understanding of the concept. So therefore, when they did occur, I could not disavow what I've seen, what I've experienced, but I do need to come up with a different framework from which to understand them. We're going to be looking at some of the interesting experiences that I've had in my life, and hopefully doing that, you'll be able to see where that links up in your own life. And I've always, from a very young child, had the ability to see and feel, even before I had an understanding of a spiritual world, of a soul, or how we are divided up as humans. In my belief system is spirit, soul, and body. Before I had any of that understanding, I was already having experiences. So as I entered into an environment of faith, beliefs, I already had experiences of my own that needed to be defined in order to understand what they were. And this may be the same case for some of you, that sometimes we've already had the experience, we just didn't have the terminology to hook up with that experience in order to make sense out of where we are at this point. We're going to be going through some of those things. We're going to be looking at the words that we use. I said just a moment ago, our spirit or our soul. And so we're going to make, in order for us to have an ongoing conversation, we need to have a agreement on the terminology. And so we're going to look at terminology. I'm going to give you an understanding of what I'm referring to, and hopefully you'll be able to link it back into your life. So to begin briefly, and some of this we've already gone through in some of our other episodes, but it's to understand that in my framework, in the way that my life has unfolded to me, I see a spirit, which is what your higher self connected to God. This is your direct source to the source. Your soul, meaning your mind, your will, and emotions. This is the part of you that's recognizable. This is the part of you where people can think about you and say, oh, I'm going to buy Dr. Anita a gift. What is her favorite color? That's the color that I'll get. And you know that about me because I have shown you what that is. So it's defining your mind, your will, and your emotions. What makes you feel good? What affects you? What do you want to do? What do you think that you've been placed here to do? And some of those clues are hidden in our soul, as well as understanding how to use our body to receive the messages that can steer us in a direction for life and health and abundance and joy, or that can lead us in another direction. So we're going to be defining those terms and defining the things that we've encountered. And again, my definitions are coming from my lived experience, not from what I read in a book, but from what I lived through. So understanding that there is a natural world and there is a spirit world. I have experienced events and situations that have occurred in my life that could be categorized in no other way but simply spiritual, having to do with that which is greater, having to do with the understanding that's being given to me, that's flowing to me from that which is higher into my soul, my soulish realm, and my body for me to interpret and understand messages. So we're going to be looking at the method for understanding the languages that may have already been circulating around you, and you just not having enough experience or the correct terminology to even link them up. Because we can only evolve as we evolve. Just because it seems like it's a good time to do it doesn't mean that that is the time that in our lives that we are to do it. So everything is very individual. We look and we get these clues about source, creator, that which is greater than us. And we talk about the fact that our fingerprints are all different, though our eyes are different. They actually use ocular scanning in some airports to move the line along faster. They can determine that it's you because no one else has the terrain in their eyes, the ocular terrain in their eyes that I do. So you know that that is me because you have a database of what this looks like, and that is who I am. So we have things that differentiate us from others, and we have to realize that is exactly the way our spiritual growth, our development, our evolution occurs individually. It's not a one size fits all. Somebody could wake up and say, oh, this is not me, by having heard something for the first time that may have been said repeatedly, but for that, whatever reason, it finally struck you as to what was actually being said. And it was at that exact moment that you realized, this is not for me. I don't know where it changed or if it changed, but what I hear now is definitely not for me. I do not choose this for my life. And therefore, we make decisions to live our lives in a particular way that is based strategically off of who we are. So as we go back to redefine and to look at where we've been previously to determine whether this is still appropriate for my life today, I still need to take into consideration the levels of learning that I have already progressed through. And it takes each individual person taking the time to sit down in their own lives and determine what they really want. We talked about this in line with maybe a weight loss goal. and that no one can do this for you but you. This is another one of those areas in life. No one can work out our own spiritual understanding. Even to take the role that many of us took earlier, as I said, I was broken. I was devastated, and I didn't have the wherewithal to try to gather tools together to figure it out. But once I healed and once I grew, I did begin to venture out. I did begin to grow. And in that, I really feel as though I grew beyond the situation that I was in at that time. And it no longer was applicable to me. And I needed to elevate in order to move forward and to be more than where I was at that time, as opposed to remaining there and never growing. So there are many aspects of our lives that we do have to reevaluate to determine whether this is what I'm keeping or not. So we're looking at the fact that you're not going through a revolution, but you are evolving. And we must start at the very beginning to get an understanding on the evolution that we're going through. So the relationships that we've had with our belief system and key figures within that belief system might change. Doesn't mean that anything is wrong. It just means that we're growing. And in that, we need to rely in a different way on our belief systems. Maybe not the way that we did before. So we're going to be going into some studies in which we're going to look at terminology like spirit families or soul families. We're going to be looking at the differences in the way that we're guided, that we learn, that we live and move as the scripture would say, and have our being. We have to redefine how we approach challenges. How do we look at the difficulties that we may see in our lives, and what kind of clues are around us to let us know where we are? Because there are signposts, there are clues on the road, but you have to know what they are for your own life and read them for your own life in order to make the decisions that need to be made to move you in the direction of your destiny, of why you're here. And it's not another person on this earth can't tell you that. They can't tell you that. You are the captain of your own ship. You're the captain of your life. And those who come in as supporting members of the team cannot chart your course. That has been done in the spirit realm before you ever arrived in this natural world. If this is something that you find interesting or that you want to continue learning about, then stick with us, because this is the direction that we're going to be going in. There are a lot of new resources that are going to be added to the website. If you've not visited, you're going to need to begin to check in so that you can see what we don't have time to do in a 15, 20, 30 minute, even an hour podcast. We'll be able to go into more deeply when you're able to visually see, when you're able to hear, and when you're able to connect that to your own understanding. So continue coming back. Visit the website at www.DrAnitaMc.com. Visit me there. Join me on NoomVibe. We've got a special part of the program that we're going to be doing there where you'll be able to talk to me live. You'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to come forward and express maybe what you have been experiencing in your own life. We're going to be looking at the spirit realm. We're going to be looking at the things that we see that maybe others don't. We're going to be looking at spiritual discernment. We're going to be looking at the way that we listen to our bodies. We're going to be talking about intuition. We're going to be looking at the clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. We're going to be looking at areas that maybe others haven't, but maybe it is time, because surely we're at a place that we've never been in before. Continue coming back. Stay with me. This is evolution, not revolution. This is evolution, not revolution.